Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling. I am Teacher Oakley, and for the next hour, as a matter of fact, at this hour, today and the following 2 days after, 3 days in a row, we're going to be looking at and practicing the IELTS listening test. Okay. First thing, main thing, most of all, listening just takes practice, practice, practice. I'd like to give you some advice, a couple places that you can look to self-practice. And also, today's class, I'll be giving an overview of the actual listening test itself, what to expect, how the test is conducted, a little bit about the scoring, and some overall I have a couple huge strategies and tips to share with you today that I think will be very useful. Okay, because today is an overall strategy overview format kind of a class, I'll be talking a lot. So please feel free to ask me any questions whatsoever about the IELTS test in general, about how it compares to other exams. I don't care. Any questions you have, anything you can think of, just pick my brain. Go for it. In any case, the IELTS listening exam. First of all, IELTS has two basic tests, the GT or general training test and the academic test. In regards to the listening test, there's no difference. It makes really no difference at all. It's basically the same test. So not much to discuss there. The speaking test is also pretty much it's the same thing. The reading and writing tests are different in the general training or the academic. Hello, Felipe. Hey, how are you? Hi. Hi, Felipe. How are you? Can you hear me? Are you hearing me? How about you, Diego? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Hi, Diego. By the way.
How are you?
I'm good. Okay. Well, hi, Felipe. I'm not sure if you can hear me or what, but say hello.
Yeah, you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Cool. Perfect.
All right, we're good. Okay, all right. Today's class is basically overview, some tips and strategies, and a little look at some scoring pointers. And then tomorrow and the next day, I'm actually not allowed to do audios, so I'm going to read transcripts and let you guys and provide you guys with questions and let you guys test yourselves in the next couple days. Today, just a lot of information, so anybody who has any questions, just don't be shy. Just shout it out. Just say, "Excuse me, Oakley. Excuse me, teacher," whatever, and give me your question. I don't care what your question is either. Go crazy. Demijan, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Excellent. Okay, let's talk about the IELTS listening test, what it consists of. There are 40 questions, which are broken up into 4 sections. Okay. You're going to spend, oh, I always forget. Each section is 10 questions. All right. The actual test itself takes 30 minutes, but that includes 4 sections of 10 questions. And then, thankfully, you're going to be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. When you take your IELTS test, the speaking test will be on a different day. Sometimes it's the day before, occasionally 2 days before, sometimes it's a day after. But your listening, reading, and writing tests will all be on the same day, and they will follow that order. Listening test will be first. So make sure you are wide awake. If you need coffee to make your brain function, then have coffee. Eat a big breakfast. Give yourself plenty of rest, because the listening test is all about super focused concentration. Really, you space out for 2 seconds and you're going to miss an answer. That's just how the game is played. So, listening test would be first. And again, 30 minutes to take, 4 sections of 10 questions each. We'll talk about what each of those sections is like in just a minute. You're going to be hearing pretty much British accents. Occasionally they'll throw in like an American or an Aussie or a Canadian or something, but usually fairly neutral British accents, not really heavy kind of really heavy British accents, but fairly neutral. A good place to start practicing and listening for that accent is really BBC. I mean, that's the type of accent you're going to hear. Fairly neutral, not crazy or anything. Okay. Talk about the question types in a second. I want to share with you a typical answer sheet. Again, you're going to be given an answer sheet and a worksheet. Now, you can do anything you want to your worksheet, underline things, make notes, what have you, draw pictures of flowers. It really doesn't matter. They're just going to destroy that. Again, the test is 30 minutes, then you're given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to a worksheet, which looks something like this. Okay. This would be your typical answer sheet, 40 questions. I do want to say something about this that's very important. A few things. Okay. First of all, you must very carefully read the instructions for how to answer the question. Okay? If the question says mark it T or F, and you mark it true, like this, if you write the word true, and the instructions say write T or F, then you are wrong. They are extremely neurotic and particular about following the directions. They will frequently say write no more than 2 words, or write no more than 2 words and a number, or 3 words or 1 word. They'll have different instructions for each section of questions. Again, the 4 parts, each 10 questions, there will be 2 or 3 subsections with a different set of instructions of how to answer the questions, and probably a different task. So make sure you're reading those instructions very carefully, because if you don't follow them, you will be wrong. You may be asked, for example, to just write a number, in which case if you write the number with letters, you're wrong. Or vice versa, it may ask you to write the number, not just numerals, but actually write in English the number. Be very careful for that. Even down to silly things like write the letter, and they will say write the letter capital letters. If you write a small g, lowercase g, instead of an uppercase g, you are wrong. Also, if it's fill in the blank and it says he bought many blank at the newspaper stand, all right? Here we see newspapers with an S. This would be correct because he bought many. If you write he bought many newspaper, you are wrong. Your answer also has to be grammatically correct or fill in the blank sentences, or you are wrong. Here is a weird thing, but strange but true. Look at this answer down here, if you can see it. It says $10, dollar spelled with D-O-L-A-R, no S. That would have to be a wrong answer because it is misspelled. Okay. This is an odd thing because in IELTS, in the writing test, they will allow you to make 3 or 4 misspellings without any influence on your score. You're allowed to misspell a few words. If you misspell 10 or 12 words, you're going to lose points, but 2 or 3 it's okay. You can get away with that. Not on the listening or the reading test. You cannot misspell. Which brings me to another thing. If we look at number 38 here, you see the word theater. It is spelled theater with R-E at the end, which is British spelling. Terrific. Now, American spelling, I'm an American, we spell it E-R. All right. This is probably not going to have much of an effect on your test. I'll tell you right now, it's very rarely in conflict, but occasionally you might have words that have American or British spelling. The solution it doesn't matter if you pick American or British. Just stay in that mode. Even more importantly in the writing section, but it also may affect your listening or reading score. So just stay consistent. You won't get marked down if you write theater with ER, American spelling. Just make sure that you're consistent in other areas and you do it the American way. In the writing, that may include other things, including use of, well, phrasal verbs. Some phrasal verbs are different, British and English. Spelling is different. Sometimes collocations. Sometimes even a few countable and uncountable nouns. So anyway, whichever mode you're in, British or American, you should stick with that mode. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it for the answer sheet. Oh, one last thing. The first time I took the test, I was tired. Don't take the test tired. Really bad idea. And what I did is I was transferring my answers, and I didn't hear answer 14. I even remember it was answer 14. And so then what I did is I spaced out, and I put my real answer for number 15 in the space for 14, and 16 went in the space for 15, and 17, and so on. And so I lost 6 answers, 6 or 7 answers on the test because I had the correct answers but not in the right slot. It's an easy mistake to make if you're feeling under pressure with the time and you just space out a little. And then I got back on track with number 21 and I was fine. So anyway, very silly mistake. So when in the reading or the listening test, you may have the right answer, but they may count it as wrong. Oh, another one, important. Look up here at number 29, English lesson. Okay, notice the capital E. That's because English is supposed to have a capital letter. If you just wrote English with a small e, guess what? That's right, you're wrong. Okay. Label here spelled with a capital L in the beginning. Doesn't normally get a capital L, but if it's the first word in a sentence, in a fill-in-the-blank exercise, then when you write it on your answer sheet, it should have a capital L. Okay. All right, enough said. They're crazy, crazy, crazy nitpicky about how you fill in the answer sheet. Again, they give you 10 minutes to do so, and believe me, the first time I took it, I didn't know if 10 minutes was enough, but it's plenty of time. You can take your time and put your answers in carefully. Don't panic. And that leads me to a couple of my major points. Don't panic, first of all. Secondly, all right, the big thing here is, okay, it takes a lot of focus. Keep in mind, that's the main thing. What they do, they may give you, somebody may speak for 3 minutes, all right? And the answers may come like no answer for 30 seconds, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, that fast. And then nothing at all for another minute and a half. And you start to play with your pencil, and you start to look at your very, very cute neighbor who's sitting next to you, and you start looking at the clock on the wall, and then suddenly 6, 7, 8, 9, 4 more answers come, and you're missing them, and you're trying to, in your mind, you're trying to catch up. What did he just say? What did he just say? And you've just blown 4 answers in a row. This is very easy to do, extremely easy. It takes extreme concentration and focus. Stay focused. Now, that being said, the way to do that and what helps you guide you in the listening test is actually to be predictive. Always be predicting what is going to happen. Now, the way the test is conducted, it begins, and you have each section with 10 questions. The narrator will give you time. He'll start the test, and he'll say, okay, you have 30 seconds to preview the information. Section 1. Fortunately, the first section is the easiest section, usually, for most people. It's a lot of concrete information like phone numbers, addresses, names, prices, dates, numbers, and just concrete information that's pretty easy to listen for overall. So you have 30 seconds to preview. You can look at the questions, and you can start thinking about what are they going to say. From the very beginning, what am I looking at? What is this a chart of? What is this about? What are these? Who are these people that are going to be talking? What are their roles? Who are they? Oh, okay. They're talking about borrowing books from the library. All right, so I'm going to be listening to a librarian talking to a student. So immediately begin predicting. And keep predicting through the test. Okay, this, and now they're going to talk about how long you can take a book, and now they're going to talk about penalties, and now they're going to talk about how to get your library card, and now they're going to talk about the library hours. All right, always be predicting. And here's a huge tip. After the first section, the first 10 questions are done, they're going to say, now you have, the narrator's going to come on, the narrator's going to say, now you have 30 seconds to review your answers. Guess what? Don't bother. Don't. It's pointless. Once it's gone, it's gone. If you didn't get it, forget it. Maybe at the 10 minutes at the end of the test, you can actually try to logic out the answer. It's possible. Frequently. Not always, but sometimes it's possible to logic it out, what makes the most sense as an answer. You might write down something, I think I heard this. As you're listening and making notes, you've got to Okay, well, that's my next point, making notes. But don't bother reviewing. Instead, use that 30 seconds to turn to the next section, questions 11 through 20, and start to preview. Give yourself an extra 30 seconds to preview. It's not illegal. It's okay to do this. They're telling you to review, but instead preview. And then the narrator will say, now you have 30 seconds to preview questions 11 through 20. Just keep previewing. The more you can predict what's coming, the better off you're going to be. Definitely. It's a little secret cheat. It's not a cheat. They won't throw you out of the desk and steal your money. Okay, you can do this. It's okay. But nobody tells you you can do this. Okay. When you're going to have to make your own system of notes. Question mark, a circle, cross out answers you know to be wrong, which in some cases, like mix and match exercises, is if you know it's wrong, cross it out. The less options you have to choose from, the easier the task will be. Occasionally, you'll have answers that are just incredibly stupid. You know, cows eat, and answer A will say oats. Answer B will say corn. Answer C will say beef. Well, obviously, cows don't eat beef. You know, come on. Cows eat potato chips. Well, obviously not. You can, even in the preview, cross out ridiculously, insanely stupid answers. Okay, then they do occur. There will be completely stupid answers. Okay, so figure out your own system of notes. What are you going to do? Are you going to underline keywords when you preview so that you can listen for keywords? Here's another hint for predicting. I say this over and over again as I teach these TOEFL and IELTS and TOEIC and so forth. Over and over and over again. I preach, preach, preach. Signal words and signal phrases. You must use them when you're speaking. You must use them when you're writing. And you must listen for them when you're listening. When they say, okay, there are 3 things, when they say numbers, there are 3 things you must know before you must do before you get a library card. All right? That's a signal. Bing, bing, bing. Okay, here they come. They're about to write the 3 things, and this could be like a mix and match exercise where they give you 8 things. Which 3 things do you need to do? All right? They heighten your concentration, your focus. It's time to really listen. Here they come, and they're probably going to come fast. Because when people give numbers, there are 3 things you must know. Here they are. Okay. Here they come really fast. So you've got to figure out, what are you going to do? Circle, underline. You got to have your own system down. In any case, you got to be ready for that. You got to be listening for those things. When they say things like on the other hand, or okay, giving examples. You may have questions about examples that the lecturer gives in section 4. Okay, well, so listen for that, such as, or for example. There will also be distractors. The lecturer will say things like, and I'm sure I told everyone in the class this last week about the fact that the Rhode Island red chicken is the fastest breeding chicken in the planet. Okay, I told everyone last week, okay, so it's not important to what's going on now. So they will have distractor elements as well. But those signal words and signal phrases can help heighten your awareness to be predicting what's coming next. What is Mary talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. Hi, Mary. Anyway,
I'm listening carefully.
you're listening carefully? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. You're listening
This is new
carefully.
for
Good.
me. Hey,
Test.
this is new for me.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Diego, by the way. Welcome. And Nader.
Yeah.
Hi, Nader. But I get going. I can't stop. Right. There's a good one. Oh, Mary, they're very good. Let me wrap up the last lecture. Ah, right. So they're signaling that they're not going to be talking about the information you're asking questions about. That does not mean shut your brain off, of course. That means that you're not really going to need this information. Okay. Okay, those are the big deals. All right, be predictive. Cheat a little bit by don't review. It's just so pointless to review. Know what you're going to do though. Are you going to write? Oh shoot, did he say horse or of course? You know, sometimes this will happen. You won't know what they said. So have your system. Are you going to write something like this? Horse? Of course. Next to the question. You do not have time to be writing whole sentences or anything like that. You've got to concentrate on the listening. But sometimes you may have multiple choice, and you may cross out two of them and put question marks near two of them. And maybe later you can figure out logically what they must have said. That scenario is almost certainly going to happen during the course of the test. So whatever it is, whatever your system is, make sure it's fast and you can write things so that you can continue to move along the page as you're listening. Okay, let's talk a bit about the different sections, what you're going to hear, and what I'm maybe even look at. Maybe we'll even practice being predictive a little bit. Let me first mention what the sections are, what you're going to be hearing. It's always the same, by the way. Doesn't matter, GT, academic. The first section is a conversation. It's two people. Very typically a customer service person and a customer. My example of the librarian and the student was one I've definitely heard. A travel agent and a customer I've definitely heard. Somebody ordering something from the internet I've definitely heard. Okay, these types of things. Again, the information is usually really concrete. Address, name, phone number, things like that. Sometimes you're lucky and they repeat the phone number, by the way. Sometimes they don't. At least it seems to me that at least once during the test they repeat information. Names. If you have to write a name, of course names are very difficult, obviously, for second language speakers. They generally, unless it's a really easy name like Smith, but generally, Mr. Horsenheiger, they're gonna. Would you mind spelling that, Mr. Horsenheiger? Yes, that's H-O-R-S. They'll do that. They're not going to give you ridiculous names of places and people that would be impossible for you to spell correctly. Okay, that's section one. Section two. Usually concerns some kind of social or training needs. It's a monologue. It's generally non-academic. It could be some kind of one I've heard. What have I heard? Okay, explanation of like a introduction to a museum, how to proceed to the museum, where the bathrooms are located, what's allowed in the museums, cameras or no cameras, and informational things, stuff like that. Okay, it could be a speech, a radio show is typical. Somebody interviewing somebody on a radio show about healthy eating or anything, a radio broadcast about interesting things to do in the area. So somebody's talking at length. It often features those mix and match pick 3 out of 6 kind of exercises. So there's often process of elimination involved, or multiple choice. That's typical, not always, but I'm just saying. Possibly, if they're describing how to get around a place, there might be a flow chart you have to do. All right, to locate things. They'll describe it, and you locate them on a little map, something like that. It's common. Section 3, okay, often has to do with education and academia. A conversation, again, another conversation. This could be a lot of different things. Okay, very similar to actually what you hear in TOEFL, where you hear people talking about a problem, an issue. It could be a job interview. That's another one they do. A discussion between a student and an advisor. That's very common. Or 2 students talking about a problem at university, something like that. Okay. And part 3, some people find the dialogue harder, some people find the monologue lecture harder. And I think that depends on the individual, really. Part 3, a good practice for part 3 is to go to TED Talks. That's great, because that's kind of what actually part 2 and part 4, TED Talks is good practice because you're listening to somebody speak at length. In any case, part 4 is a lecture. That's basically it. It's a lecture on an academic topic. So if it's fill in the blank, listen very carefully because there are going to be some big words. They're not going to use words that are, they're going to use general words. They're not going to use like chemical names. Mixio, moxio, doxio, porous. They're not going to use words like that to fill in the blank, okay? More like words like dissolve. Okay, you need to dissolve the mixio, moxio, porous in with the sulfur. Okay, and you have to pick out the word dissolve. More of a general word, but a word that would be used to describe something in an experiment, for example. Lots of fill-in-the-blank things there, often. Maybe some other types of things. Okay, now let's take a look here. Let's take a look at something. All right, let me show you a little bit what the booklet kind of looks like and what I'm talking about being predictive. All right, here's an example of form completion. Oh, by the way, symbols, 12 meters, $45, 23%, whatever. Don't worry about those. Those count as like 23% counts as one word, all right? So when you get this, here it is, the instructions, the all-important instructions, right? No more than 2 words and or a number for each question. Be aware. Sometimes they fool you. Sometimes they say just no more than 2 words or a number, which means if you write 2 words and a number, you're wrong. Be very careful to look for this and or thing. Which is it? Is it and? Is it or is it and or? Okay. All right. Being predictive. What are we looking at here? What is this? Okay. How can we predict? Here's a form. Here's the whole thing. All right. Look at, first of all, the title. You may be right immediately. You may be wrong. Felipe, what do you think this is at first blush? We may take a closer look in a second. Felipe, are you there? Okay. Diego,
Yeah.
Diego, what do you think this is? PKT, International Removals. Okay, all right. Maybe
I
that
don't
doesn't
know.
give it away. Yeah, that doesn't make it too clear. So we have the fill in the blank information over here. So first thing I'm going to do, not to waste time, what am I filling in the blank for? Can that give me a clue? What am I looking at? All right, what do you think?
I don't know. Maybe it's a kind of a card where it describes um, I don't know. Maybe it's a kind of offer that
Well, we
instant.
we know the question tells us complete the form below, so we know we're filling out a form. All right. So sales
What it
consultant,
says
we have
the
a salesman,
work number or the sales consultant.
right? That's the answer to number one, work number. Okay. And then moving from, moving to. What is this form? Why am I filling out this? Why is someone filling out this form? And by the way, pretty much know who I'm going to hear. I'm going to hear some guy named Andrew Smith and some guy named Bob Jones. Here I am predicting what I'm going to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to hear. Two guys. What are they going to be talking about, Diego? What do you think?
About sending someone else something, maybe.
Well, moving. So
Yeah.
probably moving house, moving, okay, international removals. Okay, this probably has, they're moving from one place to another place. All right, so
I
probably,
I try to relate it how you work in one country and you have to work in another country, so you have to do international removal.
well, okay.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think Nader has the right idea here. I think this is a company providing this service. It's a moving company. They're going to move your stuff from one place to another, right? Most likely, I think. I don't know why else you would have moving from, moving to. This wouldn't be anything in trade or anything. So, yeah, that seems very logical to me. Okay. Demijan, number one here, what am I listening for?
Work number.
Yeah. What are they going to distract me with? They're going to try to confuse me. How are they going to do that? Do you know? Just by looking at this information. What are they going to do to confuse me? Can pretty much count on it.
Kind of work.
Yeah, well, I got another phone number here, right? I would not be at all surprised. It's IELTS, and they just love to fool and trick people. They're going to probably give you this number. He's probably going to say, well, so what's your phone number where you can be reached? Oh, most days after 7, I can be reached at 4656-5867. Okay, and can we mostly reach you at that number? Yes, we can. Oh, I also have an alternate number. It is 37373838, and
Telephone
actually,
number. This is maybe work number is not like where is he working number?
that's right. And they may do it. I'm trying to give you an example of how they do it. They'll talk about this number for a while, and then Bob will suggest you can also reach me at this number, and then maybe at the end he'll say, and that's my work number, after he's already given the number. Okay? You can predict these things. They will try to fool you. They won't say, and here is my work number, to make it really easy for you to write it in. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they definitely will. But other times they will sort of hide it within the information within the conversation. They'll try to fool you. So you try to predict that. How is he going to ask? He's going to ask for a phone number. He might ask for a contact number. Work number he may be asking for. He may say an alternate number. This would be common. in English. Okay. Then what am I was?
Sorry,
Sorry.
teacher.
Go ahead.
First, when listening the audio, there cannot be spell work number. Can you give me work number so it's not do it this maybe it's not spell here to us.
It's not spelled out to you. No, and in fact, as you continue through the test, less and less so. The first section is the easiest. It's easy to interpret. That's the work number. They may say that's the work number, or he may not say work number at all. He may say, "Oh yeah, you can also reach me at 512-784. That's you can reach me at that number. That's my job."
Oh, okay.
So they may say it like that. Frequently, often, they're going to use synonyms or synonymous phrases, words or phrases that mean the same thing. Office number, company number. That's right. This is what you're thinking of when you have that 30 seconds or the 30 seconds to predict. You're thinking, how might he say that? He may say alternate or office or company number or contact. Right. Okay. Then, of course, what are we listening for here? Okay, Nair. Now, this could be confusing. All right, he's moving to UK. House flat. All right. What are you looking for? Is he looking for, what is he looking for? New
Neighborhood,
address?
maybe?
This could be two things. He may want to know if it's a house or is it an apartment, a flat. Maybe the answer here is either house or flat.
Oh, flat.
Or
Okay.
maybe it's a number. Maybe then it's 202 Maple Street. Down here's the street. Streets in the city is pretty easy. So you've got to be aware that this may be a little bit of a trick. They love tricks. All right? That's what you've got to be predicting their little tricks. So if you're concentrating on listening for, okay, he's gonna ask if he lives in a house or a flat. He may not. He may say, "What's the number? What's your address?" He may not even say number. What's your address? Oh, I live at 442 Moulton Drive, Windsor. Something like that. Okay. Here's another example. All right, this would be note completion. Sometimes you might not be able to guess what is going on here. What are they looking for? What are they going to be looking for? Sometimes it's easier than others. Felipe, are you there? Okay. Okay. Felipe, I don't know where you went. All right. Diego, what do you think they're looking for here? Audience, something no more than 30 plus the tutor. Assessed presentations.
Maybe people?
People? Well, maybe number of people? I'm not sure.
No. This is kind of confused me.
Well, this is a different question. I mean, different. You're gonna have list different information. Assessed presentations. Okay. Not sure what I'm going to be listening for. I really don't know. No more than 30. This must be some kind of assess is to judge or score presentation. All right. Okay. No more than 30. I don't know what they're going to say here. Maybe a
Assistance.
number. I don't really know. Date is pretty obvious. All right. Okay. Topic, review of a film, including background and director, last, the evaluation of the film, content. What might that be logically? Okay, someone's going to lecture reviewing a film. We're going to talk about the background, the director, content. What? Is there a co-location that goes with content, or is there content and something? I don't know. Characters, setting, I don't know. See, even if I have no idea, I know it's film. Okay, yeah, 14, they do that. Okay, this is because it's question 12, question 13, question 14. Yes, it's a little confusing. You have 15 minutes here. There is no question 15 here. Up here it'll say questions 12 to 14, by the way. So, even though I don't really know what they're going to say, I can start greasing my brain to start thinking about film. I know they're going to be talking about something about film. Content, so what are words I know? Content, setting, characters, plot.
I think that
Plot.
I think that if the duration of 15 minutes maybe is a review, we can
Maybe.
begin with that. So the date is easy to put any date, but the audience is kind of confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it might be a number because it says no more than 30, but I don't know for sure. I'm not going to tie myself down to that.
Maybe it will be assistance or.
Well, another thing
like
I'm going to do is I'm going to think about, since I have no idea what's going on here, and I have to do, by the way, it takes a lot of practice to do this effectively, a lot of practice. I might also start thinking, wow, audience, he may use a different word. He may say participants, audience. Okay, he may use a different structure altogether. People in the auditorium. I don't have any idea. So I got to be attendees, probably attendees, Nader, not attendants. Attendants are people that serve. Attendees are the people that go watch something.
But there's so many possibilities to.
Right, but hopefully you can help yourself. This one would make me nervous, frankly, if I was taking the test. Sometimes it's harder to predict, but instead of wasting your time, start thinking about, okay, what are some other? He was not going to say duration. He's going to say length. Okay. Topic. All right. Start thinking about other words. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's relatively easy. Here's a case where we have a table. All right. Take a look at that, gentlemen. All right. What are we looking at? Demajan, what is this?
This is course, school course.
Yep. It sure is. Much easier to figure this one out. Okay. All right. Question one. Materials for these courses. A course book and a, what might they say?
Examination. Teacher book.
Course book, well, materials, okay. Could be, I don't know. It's, by the way, obviously this is English course. So could be a course book in a dictionary. Could be a course book in a laptop. Vocabulary, book. Okay. Could be. Could be. So there's possibilities there. Some of them we can almost logic out, even if we miss the answer. Nader, look at this here. Duration, okay, 45 hours is 8 weeks. 50 hours, something weeks. And then So many hours, 10 weeks. Well, 45, 50, it goes up. 8, 10, it goes up. The price goes 424, 540, 550, it goes up. Chances are that these numbers in duration for questions 2 and 4 also go up.
For
Pretty
each
good
maybe
chance.
it's sorry teacher, this is for each elemental 45 hours. Yes. Intermediate 45 hours, intermediate 8 weeks.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, okay. It seems, yeah, there's a matrix here. Exactly. So it seems logical that, for example, answer 2 might be maybe 9 weeks. If 8 weeks, if 45 hours, 45 goes into 8 weeks, well, it doesn't really, the math doesn't really work very well, does it? Really? 8 goes into 45, what? Well, 5.5. I mean, no, what am I talking about? Yeah, basically. 5.5, okay. So what goes into 50? 9 weeks, maybe. At least you can anticipate the range. That's right. And sometimes, okay, materials, a course book, and a set of something. And obviously, you're looking for a date here, start date. Oh, a set of DVDs. Okay, maybe. Set of audiobooks. That's very logical. Okay. A set of... right. Okay, sometimes you can logic out the answers to help yourself predict. By the way, the way this is set up, I can also logic out something else. They're going to talk about this, like this, and then I'm going to hear this, like this. In other words, the flow will be like that. I'm not going to hear, okay, these are the courses, these are the levels, these are the duration, these are the material. Quite obviously, because of the very way that the answers themselves are laid out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quite obviously, that's the way the material will be presented to me, and I can predict that. I can use that to help myself out. Okay. So some of them are much easier than others. These are hard. Okay. Well, they're hard, but they're easy. You could have flow charts. See the little arrows here. So one thing's obviously it's a flow chart. Pretty easy to predict that one thing is going to follow the next. Okay. Recruitment procedure at the School of English. All right, continuing on with the same idea. All right, candidate submits what with what? Well, what would be logical there, Diego? Candidate submits.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can guess. Anybody? Dimijan, Nader, Felipe? Most likely application, yeah, with
level
fee,
maybe.
with payment, with supporting documents, with level, could be. All right, candidate is informed of any something missing in his application.
Low,
Okay.
how much?
Okay. Any, all right. Any details, any information missing in his application? That would make perfect sense. Requirements. Okay. Invited to an interview. Candidate is interviewed by somebody and a senior teacher. Well, I know it's somebody because he's interviewed by. Sometimes the grammar can help. Okay. All right, that's basically the idea, what you're trying to do. You're trying to pre-guess what's coming. Oh, this would be very typical for the second question, where they're explaining the rules or regulations for something. All right. The audience for the event is expected to wear, obviously, clown costume.
Yeah, it could be
Scuba
anything.
gear. Could be
Yeah,
anything. A
yeah.
parachute. A vampire mask.
Underwear.
Underwear.
Yeah.
Woo. But it can't be underwear. See, because we have A.
Yeah.
So underwear is uncountable. So no, Diego, you're not expected to wear underwear. Right. Well, as silly as that sounds, even the use, look at those articles. Even that can help you kind of predict. The answer is no way is it going to be underwear. I know that. It's not going to be scuba gear because that doesn't work either. Okay, if you want to take children to the venue, you must logically, watch them at all times, care for them, whatever. Put them on a leash. I don't know. The band will perform at something o'clock. Well, bands typically perform in the evening. Okay. To get a full program of the event, you should email somebody or ask the concierge or something. Okay. Maybe I can't predict exactly what I'm going to hear, but I can predict pretty close. And furthermore, the thing is, I can predict the flow of the conversation. Yeah, and to get a full program of the event, you should check our website. Yes, they're going to use very standardized English collocations and set phrases that we use. You're most certainly at least 10 of the answers in the 40 are just completely set phrases that we use in English. All right, they're not going to give you any kind of wild, strange things to say. Okay. In any case, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll be doing some practice, so you guys can hear me try doing the transcripts in strange voices, and you can practice. If you're gonna stop by the class tomorrow, same time, make sure you download the documents. All right, it has all of the test questions today and the next day, one complete test worth of test questions. All right. Actually, two. One for tomorrow, one for the next day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Macaulay. Nice class.
Okay. Nader, you're exactly right. If I was the examiner, you would have some pretty crazy. You would be wearing your underwear to the ball. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
I just
Thank
gotta
you.
lose my.